trash in my yard. I guess I better stop and pick it up since I'm going to the dump. I need to talk a little bit on my little run today. I know many of my viewers are getting tired of going to the dump, but it's a chance for me to have a little private time and make a vlog at the same time. I mentioned in one of my vlogs the other day about my experience with my, quote, farming experience. It's not really a farmer, never have been, but I lived on a farm as a kid. Did a lot of farm type work, and it carried over into my adulthood. I've had a lot of animals since we lived here. As a kid in Aiken, South Carolina, lived on a farm where we had some goats. The goats are a commodity all their own. You gotta, well, there's a lot of work involved in them. I had to go round them up in the mornings and evenings and drive them back to be fed. They would wander 2 miles, and if you haven't been around goats, they have a distinct odor. You got to get used to their smell, and it's just a natural thing with goats. But I had 2 twin goats, I remember, that were really attached to me. When I come home from school, I'd get off the school bus down the end of this dirt road. I was in the 3rd or 4th grade then. I think in the 3rd grade. Walk up the dirt road to get to the old farmhouse where we lived. And the fence paralleled the roadway there, and those twin goats would come out there to meet me every day when I got off the school bus. You wouldn't think goats are that smart, but they are. And I'd bring them home, like if the school gave us an orange for lunch, I'd bring the peelings home to them. They would eat the tar out of them orange peelings. I don't know why I particularly remember that, but they did. And there was hogs where we did our hog killing and stuff. Chickens and rabbits. I had to go check the rabbit traps every day. We had a fish trap down in the creek, and a wire basket fish trap. We had to go and check that periodically and bring the fish in. It was just a little creek, I don't know, 10, 12 feet wide, but there was fish in it. And we did a lot of farm work as far as helping out, pulling bushes and trees. I won't even get into that, but we, with the slave labor, tying chains to trees, and we had to pull a cross-cut saw on a regular basis to cut firewood, swing an axe and split wood. You wouldn't think a third grader and 4th grade kids could get out there and do that kind of work, but we did. Nowadays you wouldn't give your third grader child an axe and tell him to go chop wood, but they did us. It's a wonder I survived my childhood with all my fingers. And some of it was a lot of hard work, but some of those memories of living on a farm stuck with me my entire life. Later in life, after I got out of the Navy, we lived in Marietta, Georgia for 15 years. And other than just planting tomato plants around the house there or something. It was just like living in the city. But when we moved out here to the country in Spalding County, Georgia, when my job gave me the chance to transfer down here, we moved right back to the country. Now, our place ain't a farm. It used to be part of a dairy farm. The neighbor next to me was still operating his dairy farm at that time. I had a lot of fun going down there talking and carrying on with him. Well, after a few years there, the kids got interested in pigeons. We were going to these animal auctions and stuff. We bought a couple little pigeons, and I believe they were blue bars. Well, we made a pen out there for the pigeons. Pretty soon we was collecting pigeons. I had a big pen out there behind my green building. I built cages for them, little nests for them and stuff. We probably had as many as 30 or 40 pigeons at one time out there. And once you get used to they get used to living there, you can open the cage and just let them fly in the daytime. They'd come back at night. They'd fly around. Well, I found out my neighbors, somebody down the road they would just fly in a big circle. Somebody down the road was using them for target practice. I kept having fewer and fewer birds. Went down there and accused them one day, but that didn't do any good. Anyway, we got out of the pigeon business. We even had some, I can't think of what kind of pheasant it was now, them brightly colored pheasants. We had a couple of them. We had our turkeys. I mentioned that in my story the other day. Let me pause right here. Back to my story. The kids had a lot of fun with the turkeys. They were basically just pets. I told you the other day about how we raised hogs and sent them off to be slaughtered. We had a couple cows out there. I won't get too much in that detail, but we had 2 white-faced cows. Started out with just 1 heifer. Wound up with 2. Anyway, taking care of animals turned out to be a really hard thing to keep up. I know we went for 2 or 3 years with a chicken pen, having trouble with varmints, killing them. We had more than our share of eggs. We couldn't keep up with them all. We had Rhode Island Reds and Dominicker chickens. Never did have no leghorns. So a lot of people raise them white leghorns. But Dominickers and Rhode Island Reds are big hens. And my intention was that we would eat the hens, but then got away from that style of living. When I was a kid, you know, it wasn't no problem to go out there and wring the chicken's neck and pluck its feathers and clean them and bring them in so it could be cooked for supper. We just don't do that no more. You'd wind up raising animals and pets and raising animals and turning them all into pets. But we did slaughter the hogs and the cows. They're expensive to keep up as far as feeding and stuff. You have a lot of money tied up in those when you're raising animals. Well, we eventually got out of the chicken business. Chicken pens have long been torn down. Pigeon coops are long gone. My barn out there is falling down. I had no time to work on it much anymore. I do intend to project if I can get around to it. And I will in bits and pieces. If you stick with me, you might get to see me finish it. But I'm going to build my little man cave type shed out behind the boathouse. I'm backed up on quite a few of my projects, and I'll get to them as soon as I can one of these days. I'm using the excuse to stay in right now on account of the weather. It's a little cool. It don't take much of an excuse to not do something today. I should be out there working right now today. Well, I guess I am working, taking this trash off. Backed up projects include, well, I've got a list of it wrote down somewhere. Include quite a few things. I know point to itemize them at this time. It would make my video considerably too long. So what about it, boys and girls? Is it going to snow? Look at them clouds. I figure I'll go out to the back and back my pickup truck out there somewhere close to the deck and start disassembling the deck. The deck is printed out of pressure treated wood. It's all cracked and pitted looking on top. Not decent enough to walk on as a deck, but I got a hunch I can reuse just about all of that wood. If not, I'm talking through my hat. We'll find out when we get it tore down, but I can just go out there and cut down a few boards at a time, load them in the back of my pickup truck when I eventually get a full load, drive them around there to the back side of the boathouse. Then I'll come up with an inventory on how much wood I've got and how much wood I need to finish the project. When I get all the proper amount of wood in the right proportions gathered up, I'm going to get out there and finish that boathouse or barn, whatever you want to call it. Good Lord willing. Still in the market for a lot of dump trucks of dirt to fill up that hole in the backyard. I got to remember when I get in the house to check my lottery numbers and see if I won last night. On Mega Millions Friday night, I won $2 whole. I guess the Powerball or the Mega Ball or whatever you want to call it. It was 20, and I had that number. So I won $2, and I cashed it in and bought the wife two $1 scratch-offs, and she didn't win nothing on them. I'll look and see if I won on Powerball last night, or the night before last. I didn't check. Anywho, it's looking a whole lot like snow. I'm back from my dump run. I'm going to sign off at this time, and all you viewers out there, just stick with me. I'll get back to my projects real soon, I guarantee you. Right now I'm just busy talking a whole lot. Pwalpar, signing off.